After a terrific preseason, Curry with a 3 and a fake. Players, especially guys like Kawhi, Emad, Steph Curry, 3. Got it.
Off the bench here.
Curry running 3. Nice feed, Green.
From 2 and 3. Nice move here by Steph.
4 from
here he
3
goes.
maneuvers in a 52 seconds and 18 for the game. Pickpocketed. George lost it, and Curry will finish, and he's got 20. Get that guy.
Steph Curry again.
Curry's got 25. You better buckle up. This feels different.
And this was only after the first quarter. Hey, what's happening everyone? This is Swish Culture. If you haven't already noticed, the Golden State Warriors have sent a message to the rest of the league. The death knell has sounded, and Dub Nation has struck fear into opposing teams after demolishing the Lakers in a game where Stephen Curry admits to playing at his worst. What makes that even worse is that in that game, Steph Curry had a triple-double with 21 points, 10 assists, and 10 rebounds. The hallmark of being an all-around great player, a code that guides the playing style of LeBron James, and a mark that propelled players like Russell Westbrook from your average player into the conversational topic of superstars, was achieved by Steph Curry when he had one of his worst performances. Now let's put that into perspective. A triple-double, most commonly achieved by getting 10 or more of each of points, assists, and rebounds, but counts as long as you get at least 10 of any 3 stats tracked in the box score, is a feat that is difficult to achieve unless a player is well-rounded enough to have enough basketball IQ, athleticism, feel for the game, and hustle. While some players are well-rounded enough to have all of the above, unless you're a two-way player, you likely wouldn't see many of these, if at all, up until about 2014. As the game changed, so did the players who became the most valuable. With these valuable players' usage rate increasing, so did the way different offenses were structured in order to combat the rapidly changing pace of the game. Ball handlers with a knack for scoring, but can whip a dime from anywhere on the court, typically in the guard position, all of a sudden had an incredible opportunity. James Harden saw his usage rate climb between 2013 and 2020 as the first option for the Rockets, which helped propel him into the top 10 with 58 triple-doubles in his career, driving and kicking, then collecting defensive rebounds his teammates didn't bother chasing. Russell Westbrook, although he wasn't a threat from the perimeter, was devastating in the paint with superior athleticism, driving and kicking in the half-court set, and also at one time having a halfway decent mid-range game, catapulted Westbrook to the top of all entries in the list of triple-double record holders, even earning Westbrook an MVP in the process. The catalyst of all this? Stephen Curry. As we get into it, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel while you're at it, and tap that notification bell for my latest videos. While Stephen Curry is known primarily as a shooter, his game is much more well-rounded than many are being led to believe. Curry's problem is that he's just too good of a shooter for anyone to really notice his other attributes. Take for instance his ability to make just about any pass he attempts. The fact that he can get the ball to go exactly where he wants shouldn't surprise you, considering the fact that Steph Curry launching from deep is pretty much like anyone else going for a layup. However, his wizardry with the ball doesn't get to see the spotlight nearly as much because 999 times out of 1,000, Steph Curry should be the one shooting the ball, whether or not he's being guarded. When you are that person on the floor, more likely to score than anyone else, and from distance no less, it then becomes incumbent upon Steph to automatically shoot it once he passes the logo. Typically, however, teams will send 2 or 3 or even 4 defenders to ensure that Steph doesn't get to take the shot. Steph will either give the ball up to another player who's most likely going to wait for Steph to move enough to find himself open again to get a shot off, or to avoid this in the first place, have someone else bring the ball up the floor, aka Draymond, altogether. This is where teams realize they're going to have to do one of 2 things. Either they double team Steph at half court when he brings the ball up, or they deny him the ball altogether when he doesn't. This leads to one of Steph Curry's less heralded skills. So far, Steph has been better at being able to lose his defenders when he plays off ball. The fact that his off-ball movements are borderline flawless in execution and his shot release lightning quick, this allows Steph Curry to be at his most dangerous not having the ball in his hand. In tight shooting situations where the defenders were within 2 feet or less, Steph Curry knocked down 44.4% of his three-point shots with a field goal efficiency of 60%, with his closest competitor being Kemba Walker, who shot 42.9% from 3 and a field goal efficiency at just 44%. Just for some perspective, Buddy Hield shot just 17.6% from deep in those situations, and Damian Lillard shot just 16.7% from beyond the arc in identical scenarios. I won't even mention their field goal efficiencies. This is all to say that Steph Curry passing the ball to someone else to make the shot would be counterintuitive to a team trying to win. Now this is the part that throws teams off balance. If you look around the internet, practically everywhere you will see posts and articles declaring Steph Curry to be the greatest shooter. It's no doubt he's the greatest shooter that has ever lived, but this then overshadows the other things he's doing on the court. Because Steph Curry's shooting is so monumental, teams forget that other shooters exist on the floor, and that Steph can dime his teammates for buckets. Defenders are primarily tasked with denying Steph Curry the ability to shoot the ball without thinking about how his passing will compensate. They think that if Steph Curry is having a bad shooting night, that it's all over for the Warriors, but they couldn't be more wrong. With a lineup that includes Poole,
Leading the league in scoring here in the free.
Bjelica,
Two defenders, wing defenders. Bjelica the pump fake. Outside Wiggins, 3. Bulls.
Otto Porter,
Otto Porter loves the corners.
Moses Moody,
To Porter. Moody out of the corner.
and soon to be Klay Thompson.
For the big man. Klay Thompson 3.
Steph Curry's bad shooting nights won't be nearly as consequential as most teams think. If they looked at Steph Curry as a more complete player, as opposed to just the greatest shooter that ever lived, they could quite possibly improve their chances of containing him. One, but only one coach in Steph Curry's entire life of playing basketball has ever realized this. And even then, Steph Curry's team won the game. Steph did not score a single point against Loyola Marymount, and his team decimated the opponent, blowing them out by 30 points. The reason Steph's team won? The dreaded 3-2 defense.
Stephen Curry, the darling of college hoops, was held scoreless last night by a coach who seemed more interested in stopping Curry than beating Davison.
They double-teamed him the entire game. As soon as Steph Curry was on the floor, there were 2 players from the opposing team guarding him. They almost managed to shut him down entirely, as he did manage to have 3 shot attempts, neither of which he made good on, but the Loyola Marymount got their point across. This is the only way you can hope to stop Stephen Curry. His teammates feasted in a game that, per team, required 5 players, with the remaining 4 guys only having to go up against 3 opponents, as 2 were stuck guarding 1 Steph Curry. While he gets more respect on the NBA court than LeBron James, by virtue of the fact that Steph Curry gets guarded more heavily than LeBron does, it still isn't enough. Then comes something many teams still haven't noticed. The fact that Steph Curry isn't that scrawny little light-skinned kid shooting jumpers. For some time now, Steph Curry has slowly been getting more and more ripped. This means that his penetrations in the paint, his hustling for rebounds, and potentially knocking around with other bodies have all increased. Now he isn't afraid to mix it up and let the chips fall where they may. A bumping, bruising Steph Curry that will get down and dirty in the paint will make defenders think twice about simply attacking him on the defensive end, or just running him off the line on the offensive end. Think twice though, and that's all the daylight Steph Curry needs to turn a dark, quiet night into a light show of fireworks.
Recovers, shot clock winding down. Curry's gonna have to put it up, launches it up, shot clock. Oh, he knocks it down!
Good shot.
Pick your poison. The disrespect on Steph's name is so blatant. Kevin Porter Jr. had the audacity to come out and say that Armani Brooks is the best shooter he's ever seen. The league needs to put the respect on Steph Curry's name. If not for the record, for their own good. Continue the disrespect and they won't know what hit him. It happened before and I sense it happening again. He might not be able to prevent you from getting your 2 points, but not even the best defender can stop him from getting his 3. So you tell me, your 2s versus his 3s. Who's gonna win? He's not just the greatest shooter to ever live. He's the greatest complete offensive threat on the planet. He doesn't play in Golden State's system. He is the system. Show him some respect. Let me know what you think of Steph Curry, who's going into his 13th year in the league. Is this man still being underrated, or is he overrated? Leave your thoughts in the comments below to have a discussion. And don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications for the latest Dub Nation updates. Till next time. Swish.
I'm a player, the real player. I don't give a prayer, man. A naysayer. I block so hard, sweetie get served. Call me Lonzo Ball, bitches get swerved.
Usually I don't get down with these girls.
button.